Hi everyone! In today's lesson I'm going to show you how to make an equation of an ellipse given its parts. There's a few things that go into making an equation. We need to decide whether it's a horizontal major axis or a vertical major axis. Now the only way we can tell that is if the a value, so if the first number is greater than the second, then it's major, horizontal, and if the first value, which we call b, is less than the second value, we have a vertical major axis. We also need to know about the center, and then we can make an equation once we have the a and the b values. So let's look at example number 1. So given this information, I want to make an equation of an ellipse. So we're going to first draw a sketch. I think it's much easier to see. So here's one vertice. So they're at 5, 0, and negative 5, 0. So I'll call this vertice 1 and vertice 2. And the co-vertices are at 0, 3. We'll call this co-vertice 1 and co-vertice 2. Okay, so this is definitely a horizontal major axis. So we could write that here. And the reason why it's a horizontal major axis is because they tell you the vertices are 5, 0, and negative 5, 0, opening horizontally. So we know that the center has to be at the origin here because the distance from the center to the vertice here is 5, and this is 5, so it's equidistant, it's in the middle. Here is 3, and here is 3. So that tells us a lot about this graph. This tells us our a value from here to here is a, from here to here is also a. It also tells us what our b value is, which is from here to here and here to here, right? So our a is on our vertices and our b is on our co-vertices. So this means my a must be 5 and my b must be 3. And we just discussed that the center is at the origin. So we have enough information now. We have x squared plus y squared equals 1. And it's all over our a squared and our b squared. So since we know it's a horizontal major axis, we know the a goes first. So we know that this a squared, if a is 5, we know that we could square it, and that gives us 25. And if the b is 3, and we square it, that gives us 9. All right, let's look at the second example. Again, the best way to do this is through a picture. So I'm going to graph 1, 6 and 1, negative 4. We'll call this vertice 1 and vertice 2. And now I'm going to graph my co-vertices. Call this CV1 and CV2. Now, since my vertices are vertical, we know that this is going to be a vertical major axis. Looks something like this, which we can write down now. So vertical major axis. Now, it's very clear that the center is not at the origin. The center is in between the co-vertices and in between the vertices. So if my vertices, if it's 6 up to go up here and 4 to go down here, so up here is 6 and here is 4, that's a total of 10. So my vertices are, my major axis is 10, so half of that would be where the center is, so that's 5. So we're going to count up 5. So if this is 6, we're going to count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my center. So that tells me that my center is 2, 1. It also tells me that my a value is 5 from here to here, and from here to here my a value is 5. The a is always on my vertices, or my major axis. And then I can find out my b. We know that my b value is here, so from here to here is b, which is, if we count it, 1, 2, 3. So that tells me that my b value is 3. okay? So A is 5, B is 3, and I have a center. Okay, now if I want to put all this together to write the equation, we're going to set it up as follows. Now remember, when we put the center into the equation, it's always the opposite signs. So this is actually going to be, for the x, it's going to be x minus 2 squared, y minus 1 squared. Now because it's opening vertically, the a value is going to go here, and the b value is going to go here, or the b squared value. So if b is 3, I'm going to square it and put a 9. If a is 5, I'm going to square it and put 25. So because the second number is bigger than the first, it opens vertically. And because the first number over here is bigger than the second, it opens horizontally. All right, let's see what kind of problems are on the second page. Okay, I will do numbers 3 and 4 with you, but I'd like you to do number 5 and number 6 for homework, which I will check tomorrow. All right, let's go to number 3. So I'm going to draw a picture, see what this looks like. So I have my foci at 3, 0, and negative 3, 0. So we'll call this F1 and F2. And I have covertices at 0, 8. We'll call that CV1. And we'll call this CV2. So we know that the foci lie on the major axes. So since the foci are on the major axis, we know that it's going to open horizontally. All right, we don't know what the vertices are, so we know it's going to look something like this. You know, it's opening horizontally. So I'm going to write that down here. Okay, and we also know our B value, and we also know the center. So you see how this goes up 8 at 0, 8, and 0, negative 8? That means my center is right here at the origin. So I know my center is 0, 0. And I know what my B value is, because the covertices is always the B value, which looks like this is 8, and here is also 8. So we know that my B value is 8. And it looks like we don't know what our A value is, because A is where the vertice would be. So we need to figure out